Hello, so this is the third of our webinar series that we're doing to kind of give you guys an introduction into the college admissions process. And this one we're doing on applying to Georgia schools. So it's a bit more of a specific look for those of you in Georgia, which most of you probably are, to kind of see how things are going to look for the next year. All right. So yeah, this is our team. I'm Maya Chande, and I graduated from North Gwinnett High School, and I will be attending Princeton University, hopefully in the fall, and majoring in mathematics.
My name is Ayush Sethi, and I also graduated from North Gwinnett High School, and I will be attending Brown University as a part of their 8-year medical program called the PLME, and plan on majoring in computational neuroscience and applied mathematics, economics.
Awesome.
So the major schools in Georgia are Georgia Tech and the University of Georgia, or UGA. Both of these are public schools, and they're both part of the University System of Georgia, which is the public higher education system in Georgia. And both of these institutions are kind of really polarly opposite in a sense. So Georgia Tech is a really rigorous engineering and STEM-focused schools. It's located right in Midtown in Atlanta. And some of the examples of the majors you're going to see there are all really engineering and STEM based. So you'll have things like industrial engineering, computer science, biomedical engineering, but they also have a pretty good business school. So they can also offer a few non-STEM related things like business administration. UGA, on the other hand, has a really diverse educational experience. They have kind of a bit of everything, and they're pretty good at all of those things that they have. And they're located in Athens, rather than in the middle of the city in Atlanta. And some of the majors you're going to see there are things like accounting, animal health, biology, pre-professions, communication studies, and education. So you can kind of see a difference in focus between Georgia Tech and UGA.
Yeah, and here's just like the general application timeline. In October, that's usually the deadline for, which is usually mid-October, it's a deadline for early action applications. So basically those often you'll apply through early action if you're trying to get a particular scholarship, or generally there's some kind of requirement for you to apply early action to get a certain status once you're in that college if you're accepted. Or you could just do it to get your notification for your admissions decision earlier. So yeah, by October, you'll need to have your transcript, your recommendation letters, and your Common App filled out, as well as any supplementary materials for that college. And have that ready by then. So as you could see, that the deadlines do approach pretty quickly. October is not too far from now, and just you need to think ahead of time to have all your materials sort of organized and everything sort of set aside if you're thinking about applying early action to any of these Georgia schools or any other schools for that matter. And so in December or January, you usually get your decision for your early action applications. So you could either be accepted, in which you'll be allowed into that class, in your case, the class of 2025, and you could be denied, in which case you will not be able to reapply in the regular decision round. But if you're deferred, you are generally put into the pool for a regular decision and then reevaluated from there. And then you may be admitted or denied in a later date where your regular admission decisions come out. And from December to January, also during that period when early action updates are coming out, you have regular decision applications are due. So that's usually early January, like January 1st or something like that. So then again, you'll need to have the rest of your transcripts, recommendation letters, Common App, all supplementary materials ready to submit, because the application deadline for regular decision is early January. All right. So oftentimes also you'll have like a deferred application, which may require you to submit additional information, such as supplemental essay, and those will be due somewhere in between when the early action update comes out and when regular decisions updates come out, which is in March. So that's when you'll get the notification whether you're accepted, waitlisted, or denied. If you're accepted, wonderful job. Denied, well, you'll probably have other options, so that's all right. And then with the waitlist, generally you want to kind of follow up with some sort of letter to say you're still interested in that school and want to remain on the wait list, so they know you're not just kind of an empty body filling up a spot. So yeah, and then they'll notify you sometime after March to kind of let you know whether or not you've been accepted off the wait list.
All right, so going back to the Georgia schools theme, we have a few different application formats when applying to schools in Georgia. And a really good comparison of that is Georgia Tech versus UGA. So Georgia Tech goes the traditional route and they have the Common App. So you can go on the Common App website and apply from there. So they have one Common App essay, which is the personal statement. They have one supplemental essay. You would need to submit one recommendation letter. You can submit up to 10 activities. And of course, any test scores you have, you can submit as well. ACT and SAT is mandatory. You can submit either of those. And then AP scores and SAT2 scores, they're optional. If you want to do that, you can. UGA, on the other hand, takes a different route. They actually have their application portal through their website. So on UGA's portal website, you can put your application material in there. So they have completely different essays and things like that. So they have 2 essays. You can do up to 2 recommendation letters. You can do up to 10 activities. And the test scores is about the same. You have to submit an ACT or SAT, and SAT2 scores and AP scores are optional. So there is some overlap between Georgia Tech and UGA in their application formats, but Georgia Tech goes the traditional route with their Common App, and UGA takes a more specific route with their UGA portal and then a few specific things that they ask for, a little different than the Common App.
All right. So as Georgia residents, you do have an opportunity to get certain scholarships from these Georgia schools. And probably the 2 most popular are Hope and Zell. In order to qualify for the Hope Scholarship, you have to meet their 3.0 GPA requirement, and as well as their academic rigor requirement. So you have to have taken a certain number of AP classes or IB classes, or taken a certain number of courses that are considered rigorous by their standards. And they have a list of that on their website. You also have to keep that 3.0 by the spring semester of each college year to be able to renew the Hope Scholarship. And the amount of this Hope Scholarship isn't full tuition. The amount can vary based on how many hours you're actually enrolled in courses and things like that. But there's more specific information on exactly how much of your cost of admission or cost of attendance, will be covered by Hope. So you could look at that on like individual college websites. Zell, on the other hand, will cover full undergraduate tuition. And in order to qualify for that, you have to meet all the Hope requirements. And in addition, have a 3.7 GPA, at least a 1200 on the SAT, and at least a 26 on the ACT. So both of those you'll apply through Georgia Futures, and you have to fill out a FAFSA as well, which is a sort of form that's kind of a summary of your family's financial situation. And those are usually done, I think, by February. So you have a good amount of time to fill those out, but that's basically the 2 main scholarships there. And more specific scholarships that are specific to these 2 different schools. For Georgia Tech, we have the Stamps Presidential Scholarship, and there's also a Gold Scholars program that goes with that. So in order to be eligible for that at all, you have to apply early action to Georgia Tech. And there's no additional materials you have to submit for the Stamps Presidential Scholarship initially. So they basically just choose you based off of the application that you submit just for college admissions to Georgia Tech. And so they'll basically narrow down a pool from which they'll then do a pretty rigorous application process from there, which involves a series of interviews and essays and things like that in order to actually choose their scholars. So that basically, the Stamps Presidential Scholarship is a full ride, so you get housing paid and tuition paid and all of that. And it's only offered to around 40 incoming students. And usually 20 of those are from Georgia and 20 are from out of state. And then there's also the Gold Scholars Program, which I mentioned before. That is basically you're selected from that from the same process as you would be if you're selected as a Stamps Presidential Scholarship. So those who don't get the Stamps Presidential Scholarship and are still in that main application pool may be chosen to be a Gold Scholars, for which you could get $12,500 annually towards tuition and fees, and you get access to certain groups that could help you in professional development and things like that, access to faculty, research, things like that. The Provost Scholarship is mainly for out of state, so I guess that doesn't concern you, but also 40 people have access to that, and you have to, or you could apply early or regular, so there's no restriction there. So yeah, we talked about Gold Scholars, and then alumni scholarships are available to you after you apply and are accepted. So you could access those through your admissions portal / your financial aid portal. But for most of those, you have to display financial need, but there are various criteria involved in those. So definitely, if you are admitted, make sure to be on the lookout for those, because those can be helpful as well. And another rather specific one is the FIRST Robotics Scholarship. It's need-based, and you have to have participated in a FIRST Robotics competition in your junior or senior year of high school, and that's $5,000. All right, and UGA has their own sort of set of scholarships as well. So their Foundation Fellowship is the big one. They select 20 incoming students to be selected for that. And there's a separate application from your admission. So unlike Stamps Presidential Scholarship, Foundation Fellowship actually has a separate application that you need to fill out in order to be selected. Qualifications usually included having a 3.9 minimum GPA, a minimum of a 1460 on the SAT, or a 33 on the ACT. You have to have strong leadership, extracurriculars, and for that you usually get around $12,000 of a stipend on top of Zell Miller. So obviously, if you qualify to be a Foundation Scholarship, you would have already met the requirements for Zell. So in addition to Zell, you get the $12,000 stipend, as well as a housing supplement for $600. You get fully funded international travel, study abroad programs at Oxford, and access to a bunch of different research programs and groups and things like that. So it's obviously a wonderful opportunity to be given and a great thing to look into. So the Ramsey Scholarship is similar, but they usually select around 25 to 30 students. Again, it also has a separate application. So if you apply to Ramsey or apply to the Foundation Scholarship, you're considered for the Ramsey Scholarship as well. So it has the same requirements as the Foundation Scholarship, but you get the $6,000 stipend on top of Zell and a housing scholarship of around $600, but you don't get the international travel or study abroad opportunities that the Foundation Fellowship admittees get. There's also the Presidential Leadership Scholarship. Around 40 to 45 students get that per year, and it's a $3,000 renewable scholarship, so you're able to cash in on the $3,000 every year, each of your 4 years, but you have to maintain 3.0 GPA, and that you're just selected from your UGA application, so there's no additional I guess paperwork to do there. UGA Honors is not really like the rest of them. It's a sort of like program that some people are automatically accepted to if you apply and are accepted. So around 15% of early action admitted students are accepted to UGA Honors. The rest have to complete applications after they are admitted. So UGA Honors basically gives you access to like certain honors courses that are reserved just for UGA Honors students, study abroad opportunities, and other research opportunities and things like that, and as well as like access to particular groups and advisors and things like that. So definitely wonderful things to look into if you go apply to these schools. So be sure to be on the lookout for these, their applications and their deadlines.
Georgia is home to a lot of amazing universities, and these 6 that we have here are some of the ones that students are usually more interested in. The top 3 are private schools. So Emory University, Berry College, and Mercer are all private schools here in Georgia that students are interested in going to usually. And the bottom 3 are public schools. So Georgia State, which is located in Atlanta, University of North Georgia, and Georgia Southern University are 3 additional public schools other than Georgia Tech and UGA that we've talked about that students are usually pretty interested in going to. All of them have their own niches, all of them have their own kind of theme that they follow in their education, and each one is meant for a different type of student. And they're all amazing world-class institutions.
Yeah, so I hope that definitely helped in kind of giving you an idea of what applying to in-state schools would look like. But we also have our private counseling services that could help you both in your journey of applying to in-state schools as well as out-of-state schools, and just crafting your application to be as successful as you can.
So we have a lot of different packages for people that may be interested in our private counseling. So we have our essay writing package where we help you brainstorm with 3 brainstorming sessions so that we can decide on what essay topics that we can write about in the Common App essay and the different college supplements that college will be asking for. And we'll also help you revise and give you feedback on up to 5 essays for you to really perfect those essays. We also have our application creation package. And what we do here is that we help you brainstorm and guide you through how to best lay out your activities, your descriptions, recommendations, and test scores through your Common App. And we'll help you go through the entire Common App and make sure that everything is being filled out properly and so that you can show colleges the best version of yourself. And we also do a lot of BSMD help. So we have kind of the BSMD analogs to these packages already. So we have our BSMD writing package where we help you brainstorm sessions. We help in brainstorming sessions to decide essay topics for the Common App personal statement, as well as 2 BSMD program supplemental essays. And we also revise and give you feedback on those things as well. And another big part of the college admissions process is interviews. And we can help you prep for these interviews with our interview prep sessions. So in 1-hour sessions, we can help you go over kind of how should you approach your interview, how can you answer certain questions, should you carry yourself, all of those fun things that you should be thinking about when you're doing an interview.
All right, and so in addition to those, we have just our complete package, which pretty much includes all the things that we were talked about before for general undergraduate admissions. So you get help creating a college list to kind of narrow things down and really tailor things to your interests and what would be best for your future. In addition, we also have individualized Google Calendar task management. So basically, we take all of the tasks that you have to do during your college admissions process, be it turning in your Common App, getting a recommendation letter, requesting your transcripts, and we kind of compile all of those onto a Google Calendar that you will have access to, obviously, to sort of keep track of all of your due dates. And also, we will be connected to you in your kind of journey through kind of checking all those boxes. In addition to that, we have help planning out how to write about your extracurriculars and which ones to highlight the most in your application. We also give help getting recommendation letters, so kind of choosing teachers who could reflect the best part of you and just kind of choosing wisely in that sense. We also have the essay writing package, which I just talked about, included in there, the application creation package, 2 interview prep sessions, and financial aid and scholarship guidance, which also is a process that kind of gets undermined often. People are so focused on, yes, getting into college, but paying for it is a large part of that. And being able to get help and leverage your resources as best as possible in order to get the best deal possible out of college, get the best bang buck there, is incredibly important. So we will definitely help you out there. And so we have this complete package for general undergraduate admissions, and we also have the BSMD specified complete package. So like I said, it's just an analog to the undergraduate one, or the general undergraduate one. So here you get help creating a BSMD program list. You start your pre-med education planning. You get that Google Calendar task manager. And you also get help planning out how to sort of tailor your extracurriculars to a way that's appealing for BSMD programs. You get help with recommendation letters, and again, the BSMD essay writing package, application creation package. You get the 2 interview prep sessions, and of course the financial aid and scholarship guidance. So those are kind of our 2 most, I guess, comprehensive packages, and definitely the most helpful, I guess, for your college admissions journey. But of course, the more specific individualized ones are obviously very helpful for the more, I guess, targeted help that you might need in any part of your application.
All right, so it's summer. What steps should you be taking right now? The first one is just thinking about it, right? So define your priorities, think about the criteria you have for the colleges you want to apply for, and just start the thinking process. And second, look into private counseling. Do you think that you'll need help with the process? And often it's helpful to have someone else take a look and make sure that you're going through everything and not missing something. And lastly, just explore and take it easy. It's summer. You should be relaxing, just thinking about what you want to be doing for the next year, and shouldn't be stressing out too much.
Yep, so definitely take it easy and just kind of think about this in a calm mind, because what's good that you're doing right now is starting early, so you have that time to kind of look at things stress-free. So yeah, thank you. Here's our contact information. Let us know if you are interested in private counseling. We'd love to help you. And again, my portion of the proceeds are going to organization that is looking to amend the policing process in the United States. So again, part of your contribution to us and your purchasing of this service or any of our services will be going towards a good cause in some sense. So definitely have that in the back of your mind. So yeah, and anything you might need on the website, including a recording of this webinar, will be at admitted.weebly.com. And yeah, shoot us an email for absolutely anything you might need. And good luck on the process, as well as just have fun in the summer. And I hope y'all are able to do that. All right.